The evidence was sealed, the warrant was signed in secret, and the moment two of the most controversial figures on the planet touched down on American soil, law enforcement was waiting in the shadows. They thought a private jet to Florida would offer them safe harbor from foreign prosecutors. Instead, it delivered them straight into handcuffs. But what the public was never supposed to find out is that this arrest may have broken a secret, long-standing agreement between international governments, triggering an explosive legal showdown that reaches all the way from federal courtrooms in Miami to the highest levels of power in Washington and London. For years, Andrew and Tristan Tate built a massive billion-dollar digital empire on a foundation of hypermasculinity, extreme wealth, and deeply provocative commentary. Their sudden rise to global notoriety made them two of the most searched men on Earth. But behind the flashy supercars and viral sound bites was a dark, rapidly expanding web of serious criminal allegations. Dual citizens of the United States and the United Kingdom, the brothers abruptly relocated their operations to Romania, openly boasting on social media about leaving Western nations due to what they claimed was a lack of freedom. That narrative shattered in late 2022 when Romanian authorities raided their Bucharest compound, placing them under arrest alongside two female associates. Prosecutors in Romania alleged a sinister scheme. The brothers were accused of using the lover boy method, promising romantic relationships and career advancement to lure vulnerable young women into sexual exploitation and forced adult content creation. What followed was a grueling legal marathon. The brothers spent months trapped in Romanian jail cells, followed by strict house arrest, all while maintaining that the evidence against them was non-existent.
They're going to await a judge's decision on whether they're going to be shipped back to the UK to face sex crimes charges. So you have 39-year-old Andrew and 38-year-old Tristan Tate. They're dual citizens in the US and the UK. But for the past couple of years, the two have been in and out of Romanian jail cells. The two had moved to Romania after criticizing the lack of freedoms in other countries online. In late 2022, Andrew and Tristan were arrested along with two women. They were accused of luring women into sexual exploitation and things like sex work websites with promises of romantic relationships, or that the Tate brothers would help them advance their influencer careers. Andrew Tate has stated repeatedly that there's zero evidence against him, that there's some sort of underlying conspiracy at work. They spent time locked up in jail as well as on house arrest before a court lifted travel restrictions, gave them permission last year to leave the country, fly to Florida on a private jet before returning to Romania. And the case in Romania is still ongoing, but has hit a few.
Calling the entire case a coordinated global conspiracy. Yet just as the Romanian proceedings appeared to stall under procedural hurdles, the legal ground beneath them completely shifted. In an unexpected move, Romanian courts lifted their travel restrictions last year. Taking advantage of their newfound freedom, the Tate brothers boarded a private jet bound for Miami. To the outside world, it looked like a triumphant escape. To international law enforcement, it was the trap snapping shutting. Because while the world was watching Bucharest, a completely separate, devastating dossier was being quietly assembled across the Atlantic in the United Kingdom. When the brothers landed in Florida, federal agents executed a sealed warrant issued at the request of the Crown Prosecution Service in London. This was not just a routine check. It was an international extradition demand that instantly escalated the legal stakes into an existential fight. The new charges unveiled by British authorities were staggering. The UK's Crown Prosecution Service confirmed that following a fresh file of evidence delivered by Bedfordshire Police, Andrew Tate is now hit with 7 additional counts of rape, 3 counts of human trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault causing actual bodily harm, and 19 charges related to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. In total, Andrew Tate now faces 42 criminal charges in the United Kingdom alone. His brother Tristan faces 17, spanning
facing dozens of charges there. So when they landed in Miami on Saturday, this time they were taken into custody on a sealed warrant as part of an extradition request. According to the Crown Prosecution Service in the UK, Andrew and Tristan are being charged in connection with 4 more alleged victims and incidents that reportedly occurred between 2010 10 and 2017. So on top of this laundry list of charges that they were already facing, according to reporting from The Guardian, they now face dozens more. The CPS has charged Andrew with 7 more counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault with actual bodily harm, and 19 additional charges for offenses relating to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. So in all, per the BBC, Andrew now faces a total of 42 charges in the UK. Tristan faces 17. The head of the CPS Special Crimes Division, this is Malcolm McAfee, said these charging decisions followed receipt of a further file of evidence from Bedfordshire Police and bring the total number of alleged victims in this case to
Alleged offenses involving 7 different victims between 2010 and 2017. Together, the brothers are battling 59 separate criminal counts in Britain, alongside an ongoing civil lawsuit filed by 4 British women seeking accountability for alleged sexual violence. The sheer volume of these charges sent shockwaves through the legal community. Attorneys representing the victims urged authorities to act swiftly, declaring that after years of relentless public campaigning by survivors, the
4 alleged British victims had this to say, per The Guardian, quote, Andrew Tate is now facing the real prospect of extradition to the UK after years of public campaigning by the 4 British women I represent. They have spent years fighting for action to be taken, and I now urge the authorities to ensure this case proceeds as quickly as possible. Andrew and Tristan Tate are accused of some of the most serious offenses, including multiple counts of rape and human trafficking. It is time they...
The time for accountability had finally arrived. But as federal marshals took the brothers into custody in Miami, their defense team fired back with a sensational claim, one that threatens to expose a massive...
They still have that pending case in Romania, and that's what's going to be so interesting about this extradition, is that there was an alleged agreement with the UK for priority. And we often do this with different states that might have different cases on individuals. So that's kind of where they are right now. They have these pending cases in Romania. They have pending cases in England. This extradition is for the case in England that was going to be essentially stayed until the Romanian cases were resolved.
A breach of diplomatic trust. In an aggressive, unsparing public statement, lead defense attorney Joseph McBride alleged that the United Kingdom committed a severe act of bad faith. According to the defense, a long-standing formal agreement existed between the UK and Romanian governments, stipulating that Britain would not pursue extradition while the Romanian trial was active and pending. The defense claims that by rushing to arrest the brothers in Miami, the British government willingly shredded its own diplomatic word for political expediency.
7. Now, attorneys for the Tates have adamantly denied any wrongdoing. Lawyer Joseph McBride did not mince words in a lengthy statement, saying, in part, the world knows Andrew and Tristan Tate are innocent. Their enemies know it best of all. That is exactly why they have been attacked. He continued, understand what Britain just did. There is a long-standing agreement between the UK and Romanian governments that the UK would not seek extradition while the Romanian proceedings are pending. Those proceedings are ongoing right now. That agreement exists because no nation gets to trample the judicial sovereignty of another for political convenience. The UK shredded its own word the moment it became useful to shred it. That is who they are. This extradition demand has one purpose: to kidnap Andrew and Tristan through paperwork before an American jury exposes the truth to the entire world. We are confident that once a competent judge sees the facts and once the Department of Justice confronts this egregious abuse of its own authority, Andrew and Tristan Tate will walk free. America does not do Britain's political dirty work, not here, never.
Attempting to bypass international sovereignty. McBride went even further, asserting that the arrest warrant was quietly greenlit by a low-level bureaucrat within the United States Department of Justice, calling the entire maneuver a legal kidnapping designed to drag the brothers into a foreign jurisdiction before an American court could scrutinize the underlying evidence. Though the Department of Justice pushed back, confirming that leadership within its criminal division approved the action, The defense insisted that American authority was being
requests take, right? The Crown Prosecution Office puts together a request, it gets certified by a judge, the final request is sent over to the Home Office, which then forwards it on to the U.S. State Department. It's then considered by a court here in the U.S., and Secretary of State Marco Rubio apparently would have the final say so on extradition. And there have been rumors in the past that the Tates, who have both shown support for President Donald Trump, could see his intervention in their legal cases, but the president has previously said he doesn't know anything about the Tate's cases. This is according to reporting by Time magazine. However, I will tell you the outlet reports that Donald Trump Jr. was previously quoted saying the brothers' detention in Romania was, quote, absolute insanity. Now, a barrister, lawyer, specializing in extradition law, Ben Keith, told the Times in the UK that if the Tates...
Procedural gears are grinding forward. Meanwhile, a third legal front has suddenly opened up right on American soil. Reports have surfaced that state law enforcement in Florida has launched its own active criminal investigation into the brothers. The Florida Attorney General's office publicly acknowledged the developing situation with cryptic online commentary, signaling that local prosecutors may be preparing their own legal maneuvers. When asked about potential domestic charges, defense experts emphasize that threats mean nothing until an indictment is unsealed. But the existence of 3 simultaneous legal battles in Romania, the UK, and Florida creates an unprecedented procedural nightmare. If the Tate brothers successfully block or delay their extradition in U.S. federal court, they could remain held in American custody for months, locked in complex evidentiary hearings. If they fail, they will be placed on a flight to London, where they will immediately be remanded into British custody to face nearly 60 criminal counts without the guarantee of pretrial release. As the defense prepares to challenge the validity of the British arrest warrant and expose what they call a breach of international law, the prosecution maintains that the evidence is overwhelming and that no public figure is above the rule of law. The world is watching to see whether this diplomatic chess match will end in a Miami courtroom or